And now, for the reason we are all here tonight, someone very special to Chris would like to say a few words. At this time, I would like to welcome Chris's beautiful wife and much, much, much better half, Kenan Eccleston, to the stage.
Thank you, Catherine. I really promise I had no idea this was happening. I had no idea. Gosh, I'm sorry. My name is Kenan Eccleston, and I'm the wife of the gentleman we're celebrating tonight, Chris Eccleston. I'm honored to be here, and I'm just so thankful for all of you here tonight. I mostly work in the background these days, so it's been a while since I've been in front of a microphone, so you'll have to excuse me. I'm a little rusty. But I want to thank you again for your support, everyone for being here. Thank you for your support of Chris, for your support of the Scouts, and of course Shayna and the whole committee. And Catherine, thank you for doing this tonight. Now, we know Chris was an Eagle Scout. I promise I wouldn't embarrass him, so I'm going to try to be good, but an honor for which he's very proud, and he should be. Congratulations, Owen. That's awesome. Of course, yeah. Awesome. And Chris is so proud that he was an Eagle Scout. Of course, he was sure to inform me of this on our first date. As you can imagine. I must have been impressed, I guess, because here we are today. Years later, two children later, Hale and Sadie, and I am actually, he can attest to this, I'm constantly telling our children, go ask Daddy, he'll know, he's an Eagle Scout. That always happens. So when I learned that Chris was to be honored, and of course, if you know me in the back there, you will know that I do enjoy a good celebration. So I was so thrilled to learn, obviously, that Chris was going to be honored with this award this year. I was thrilled for him. And of course, many of you know him through his work, which has been talked about tonight, and with the community, his passion for the arts, DVB, Grit Leads to Greatness, the list goes on and on and on. This man certainly does not want for vision or projects to be involved. But you may not be aware of the dedication that he has to his family, to his children, Hale and Sadie, and to me. No matter what he has going on, which could be any plethora of projects or issues or stressors, he makes it a point to be home for dinner and family time. And on top of his already overloaded work schedule, he's supporting the kids' activity, he's supporting me and whatever I'm doing. And for example, right now he's coaching Hale's football team, and he scheduled a practice for tonight. It's like, no, honey, we're busy. It cracks me up. Okay. Baseballs, I mean, all the things for the children. He's involved. Of course, the Cub Scouts, Hale's in the Cub Scouts. And hopefully, one day he's gonna make Eagle like his daddy. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Chris is truly unbelievable. He's an unbelievable human being, and I'm just exhausted thinking about everything he does every day, and I tell him that on a daily basis. So I just want to thank you all for recognizing him, for being here tonight. It means so much to me. It means so much to him. And in my humble opinion, there's no one more deserving than you, babe. So I'd like to introduce him. May I now introduce you to the Boy Scouts of America Delmarva Council 2023 Lower Shore Distinguished Citizen, my husband, and one and only, Chris Eccleston.
Thank you all, thank you all. There you go. How are you? Oh, shake hands, take a picture. I'll get in between you guys.
Another photo op is coming, everyone.
All right. Good.
I'm going to go off script. I'm going to go off script too. Chris, we know how important it was to you that that trophy be bigger than Brad's,
Yes. I specifically asked for that.
but we also want to make sure that you got something that Brad didn't. And you have to wear this the whole time.
Yeah, it'll fit better when I don't have hair, right? Thank you, Ray. Lee, anybody that worked at Boy Scout camp with me knows how important this hat is to me, so thank you. Nice surprise. At one point in my life, I wanted to be a camp director, but I didn't make it as a professional scout. I was only a scout at scout camp for 4 years, and every year I should have been fired for multiple and various reasons. But Jenny spoke so eloquently earlier about believe. You know, my scouting career, the whole time, people kept believing in me, even kind of when I didn't believe in myself, and that's a testament to the Boy Scouts, and that's why it's so important to me. So, anyway. Thank you all for being here tonight. I appreciate it. It means the world to me. I want to thank Salisbury University for hosting in this building. Some of you know, some of you don't. This was actually one of our first projects that we got. It was, I think it was a $3.5 million project that we got, and this was our springboard. This was, you know, the project that made it happen. We actually delivered a lot of the ceilings and the floors and the patio out there. We had the general trades package on this job, and this allowed us to go out and hire all the veterans. And one great story coming out of here was Trey. I remember he had just gotten back from deployment. He was sitting at home, not doing much, trying to figure out what he was going to do. And I said, hey man, I'm really in a jam over here. I just signed this contract, and I don't have anybody that works at DVB, so do you mind coming to work for me? And he's like, well, I don't know anything about construction. I said, don't worry about that. That's good. Just need you to show up and carry stuff around. And so anyway, he did. We had a crew of characters here at the time. And Trey went on, he got his inspiration here working with all these guys that had PTSD and TPI and all the different types of things from combat. And he left DVB and went to get his residency program. He got his doctorate in psychology, and now he works with veterans every day. So that happened right here in this building, probably in this room. So I want to thank all the members of the event committee for putting this together, $60,000 for scouting. That's awesome. Give them a round of applause. I want to thank my wife, Lee, Ray. I hate when I start naming names because I always forget. Jenny, and somebody else spoke and I already forgot. John. I suck. Thanks for playing that video. And I want to thank the Boy Scouts for the honor and the recognition here tonight, so thank you. And let's give Owen another round of applause. And Team DVB for being here, my family, everybody. Thank you. So I will take this off just so I can kind of be a little serious. We are at Salisbury University. I'll be brief because I know the Orioles are playing tonight. And they're going to win the pennant race. So I thought, okay, we're at a university. What do we talk about and discuss at universities? And case study came to mind. That's where I got my MBA. They did a lot of case studies on different businesses. So I thought I would do a couple of them that you might have heard of, and talk about the return on investment as business people and community leaders. That's something we always look at, or if you're in the nonprofit world, we look on return on impact. So here's my case study. In 1998, Paul Martin, the great Paul Martin, was the recipient of this award. And there was probably a group of people like this, and they got in a room somewhere, and they talked about all the great things that he did, and they raised some money for scouting. And that was the year that I had just finished my Eagle Scout project, and I was about to become an Eagle Scout. So the first company I'll talk about is Delmarva Veteran Builders. It's a great company, by the way. Great people. And the guy who actually, I think, kind of runs it's not bad either. Anyway, we started a program in 2018 called Vets Giving. And Vets Giving is something we do the week before Thanksgiving every year. So our staff comes together. We buy Thanksgiving dinners. We've never taken any donations for the project. We've been doing it for almost 8 years now. So, and the week before, we have all the kids and the family members come together, and they draw decorations and all that kind of stuff. And then we take the Friday before Thanksgiving and we go around and we deliver Thanksgiving meals to low-income veterans and their families. So we work with the Maryland Department of Veteran Affairs and the Department of Veteran Affairs. We have started getting into Delaware. It's usually about 50 to 60 homes every year, but I think one of the coolest things for me is that every year somebody different in the office has run this program. And this is like a different Eagle Scout project for somebody in the office. And they learn project management, they have to plan, they have to coordinate, they even set routes. And we pair up and do it. And that's a pretty cool program. So that's what it is. Why do we do it? Well, I'm gonna tell you a story about 2 scouts. One of them we'll just call Chris, okay? And he was this young guy, and this other scout named Matt, not Matt Chance, but Matt Chance. And we'll just make up a troop name 817, okay, in Salisbury, Maryland. Totally made up, okay? And anyway, Matt brought Chris this box of windproof matches. And Chris was a pyro. If any of you don't know what a pyro is, that's imagine Tim the Toolman Taylor going, build fire, or Tom Hanks in Castaway if you're, I build fire. Anyway, so windproof matches. Chris had never heard of such a thing. And he was in awe as a pyro, right? So Chris decided, well, I should try these windproof matches because I don't believe they're gonna work. And I'm going to light a windproof match. So I did. And then as matches do, they burn. And they burn down the stick and then onto your fingers if you're holding it. And I started shaking a match. Chris, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Thanks, Brad. Chris started shaking his hand like this, and it wouldn't go out because it's a windproof match. So I proceeded to drop the match like like Chris would do. And so anyway, what I didn't tell you was I was inside a building that was at the Elks Lodge. They had just renovated. They had painted the building, they had put new floors down, they had put new ceilings on, they had all new, it's funny I'm in construction now. They had totally renovated that space, and they had a giant quarter or $50 size burn mark in their new carpet. And that was another time I should have been kicked out of the Scouts, but I was not. Chris was not. What ended up happening was Chris had to go before the board of directors. And I had to go deliver Thanksgiving meals the day of Thanksgiving. And I saw a whole different side of the way people lived. And anyway, that had a profound impact on me. So anyway, we've been doing it for 8 years. Quick contractor math, it's like magic, okay? You just make up numbers. 20 people every year, 50 to 60 people served. Over the 5 years, we'll just call it roughly 1,000, okay? Just bear with me, okay? 1,000 people impact, all right? So the next company we'll talk about is Trash Force, case study on this, okay? Summer camp. Now, a couple years ago, we formed a partnership with the Village of Hope, and we started sending kids to summer camp. And I normally would not show that, and I wouldn't ask people to write thank you notes until I read a book. And some of the staff members at DVB will tell you they hate my book collection, because anytime I read a book and it has an impact on me, I didn't want to go create something really cool and implement it into the company, and that's annoying and exhausting. So, or a podcast, yeah, or a podcast, there you go. Yeah. So anyway, I read this book called Power of Moments, okay? And in the Power of Moments, they talk about 4 ways to create a moment: elevation, insight, pride, and connection. So, but the basis of the book, and there was a case study in the book that they talked about, there was a teacher, and this group had formed a nonprofit, and they required everybody to write a thank you note that was receiving money. And it went on scale, and the reason they did that is because they wanted children to believe that there were people behind them that they didn't know that believed in them. And that meant something to me. So that's what we started doing. I'll just make an aspirational statement. I hope we become one of the largest summer camp providers, I don't know the right word, for kids as we continue to grow the business. So in 2 years, roughly 15 to 20 children, okay? Next company or book I'll talk about is Great Leads to Greatness, and Jenny did a great job. Let's give her a round of applause. She's very modest. She's actually has been asked to be the keynote and the MC for the New Mexico Women's in Construction groundbreaking conference in March of 2024. The New Mexico governor will be there. So this is a big moment. I'm really proud of her and really happy for her. So this is something we started a couple years ago. It's been a really fun project, really passionate. And for those of you that don't know, our industry, the construction industry, is in crisis. We face a 650,000 person worker shortage. That didn't sound right, but anyway. And I didn't make that up. Quick sidebar, I was given a talk one time at a project up in Delaware, and Senator Carper was there, and I was kind of started going off and off and off, and I said, we are the fastest growing business on the Eastern Shore. And he said, how'd you come up with that? And I was like, oh shit. I said, well, Senator, I just made it up. And the media was there, and he laughed. But that was part of the reason why we went and got that Inc. 5,000 thing, because I wanted to go prove to the senator I wasn't making things up. So, and I saw him 2 years later and reminded him. He had forgotten, but I didn't. Anyway, that's a real stat from ABC, Associated Builders and Contractors. Sorry, I got off topic here. Mason the Mason, I got to be Mason the Mason, he's back there. We wanted to make construction heroic, okay? And we wanted to celebrate, people in the trades really feel like for decades the education system has pushed children to college, and there's nothing wrong with college, I went to college, but the trades are left behind, and now we're all dealing with the consequences of it. And it's not just the construction trades, it's anything related to the infrastructure and everything that we depend on. We all live in I'm not getting on a tangent, but it's a big problem, it's a national problem, and contractors love to talk. So Jenny and I decided to act, and we wrote a book. okay? And we wanted to make construction heroic. We created these fantastic characters, and they represent each trade. And it's just been a really fun thing. And we even are, this October, so we did it in March. We had 50 companies step up. We were in about 60 classrooms. Thank you, Dr. Stafford. We were in 5 schools in 2 days. It was exhausting, but we were in front of about 1,500 kids this October. And I told them when I met with them last year, and they were like, "You're crazy, Chris. This is a big idea, but we're going to go for it." I said, "This is going to be a national model." And Jenny and I, in October, for Careers in Construction Month, we'll have events happening in California, Florida, New Mexico, Virginia, Maryland, and maybe Delaware, and perhaps Vermont. And we are getting contractors. We're getting contractors in the classroom. One of the most beautiful moments I've ever seen. Gosh, that sounded like Trump. It was a great day in my career. That didn't even sound like that. It was amazing. The guys and the men and women in the classroom, number one, they came out of the classroom in public schools and they said, "Wow, I'm impressed." And that message doesn't get out nearly as much as it should. And they said how well behaved they were, how interested they were, how many questions they asked. And some of you in this room went and read these books in the classrooms. And it was amazing. And I've never seen the pride for our industry on display like I saw that day. And that was all I needed to make this a national thing. And we're going to give them hell, right, Jenny? So anyway, we've created a partnership with NCCR, which is a national construction credentialing program. And what they are working on is a junior credentialer, like junior builder, junior constructor. It'll be a certificate. I'm pushing very hard that they get a badge that they get. Boy Scouts. I forgot. Summer camp. I worked at summer camp for 4 years, okay? It was great memories for me. DVB, I told the story of how the Scouts, and then this book. So Friday night at Scout Camp was campfire night, and I loved that. And as a young man, I thought it was about me, and I was having a great time, and they're laughing back there because they know it's true, okay? I love the attention. I love getting the crowd excited and having the laughs and all that stuff. But what I didn't realize until I got older was we were creating memories. So throughout the week, kids would come up. Some would even ask to take our picture or an autograph, and that meant the world to me. And some even adults, they wanted to talk and all that kind of stuff. But really what it was creating memories. And when I got to walk into that school auditorium, it was about 200 kids in the costume. They didn't know it was me. And I heard the oohs and the ahs, and they ran up, and I mean, it was like Disney World, and it was a testament to Scouts. So we were in front of about 2,000 kids. There were other administrators, school people, all that stuff. We're going to be in front of about another 2,000. So roughly, we're saying 5,000 to 7,000. Okay, so I'm going to use the term 8,000 people through all this stuff. Okay, and in business, you talk about compounding effect. Okay. And that is really used in finance, but it's also used in business, and it's also used in nonprofits, and it should be used in community involvement. But that's waking up and doing the same thing over and over again, and after many years, the compounding effect has a big impact. Now, I did look this up, okay? Google says, and I don't know if it's true or not, but it was on Google. It says the average person will meet 10,000 people in their life, okay? So if you take the 8,000 people that have exposure from the scouting and the different businesses that we're talking about here tonight, and you use 10,000 people in their life, that's about 80 million people, okay? That's true. It's math. I did it before I got here. John Maxwell, okay? he's a great leadership guy. So young kids over there, read the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. It'll change your life. He talks about the rule of thirds. A third of the people are going to like what you have to say. A third of the people are going to hate what you have to say. A third of the people are not going to care, kind of just like this speech. So if you discount it, we'll just say 25 million people. So I'm one of those Eagle Scouts from 1999. There were about 250 Eagle Scouts coming out of the Delmarva Council at that time. So think of the compounding effect that had, and the impact that one scout had, and what we were able to do. So tonight, my hope, and the $60,000 that we raise for the Eagle Scouts of 2023 and those about to become Eagle Scouts in 2024 have a profound impact. I believe as the world, with the rise of technology, the world population is going to double in the next 10 years. There'll be more people, there'll be more impact. The world's getting closer with technology, and scouting is going to become more and more important. And the young people tonight, it's time for them to go create powerful moments, and it's time for them to go change the world. So thank you. Good night. Let's go, O's.